Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing two fairly old British TV series, one being Marchlands and one being Lightfields. So, before I head into my discussion on these two British miniseries, quick disclaimer, I do not plan on having any type of spoilers in this video, so watch freely as you will. And yeah, I guess to just open up this video, if you know me, I love all things British television, you guys, okay? I love British TV. It's like my top thing that I gravitate towards. I love it. So yeah, I happened to learn about these two miniseries, and I bought them together. The thing is, I had to import them. They had to be imported because they're like not available anywhere convenient for American audiences. They're not on streaming. They're not on like Amazon to even purchase the DVDs. I mean, I did order them through Amazon, but they had to be imported. So the thing is, since these were imported and they are from the UK, they are region 2 DVDs. So that's kind of a thing too, before you kind of get into this video. If these do sound like your cup of tea as I get through the review, be warned that the only way to watch these miniseries is through region 2 DVDs. So you need to make sure your laptop, your TV, your DVD player, or whatever, you can watch region 2 DVDs. So that's a warning. Okay, so all of that being said, let's get into the actual review of Marchlands and Lightfields. I thoroughly enjoyed both of these miniseries, and the thing is, they are kind of companion pieces, and I would urge watching them together. They do not relate by any means whatsoever. So if there's one that you prefer over the other, then by all means you can totally watch that, because they do not connect, but they are companion pieces in a sense, because they're sort of like you know, like an anthology type series where they share, like anthology series tend to share similar thematics and elements, and they're all under like the same sort of title, but then yet each season they don't relate to each other at all. That's kind of what these two miniseries do. They're kind of anthology. It's kind of anthology type series, companion pieces, but yeah, you can totally view them whichever order you want, and they don't even have to necessarily go together. And you may be asking, why are you reviewing two fairly old British TV series? Because this is my channel. I just feel like doing it, you guys. Sometimes when I kind of learn about something brand new, I get excited about it and I just want to share it. And yeah, maybe you happen to watch these series way back when they came out, and if you did, please totally share with me what you loved. Maybe you didn't like them that much, that's okay, because yeah, Marchlands was released back in 2011 and Lightfields was released back in 2013, so yeah, these are over a decade old at this point. So there's a good chance no one's going to watch this video. That's okay. I just wanted to really talk about these two mini-series because I just absolutely thoroughly enjoyed them. I was hooked. I was engaged. I loved the concept and premises of both of them. Do not get me started on the amazing British cast in both of these miniseries, yeah, guys. Like I said, I gravitate towards UK television the most, so there's a lot of UK actors that most Americans have never ever heard of. Yet these two miniseries, a good probably 90% of the cast I am totally aware of, and I just loved seeing all these people. So yeah, if you're like me and you're in the know with all these kind of random miscellaneous British actors, this will totally be your thing like me. So starting with Marchlands first, like I said, that was released back in 2012. It has 5 episodes. It's set in 1968, 1987, and 2010, following 3 families over 3 different decades living in the same house, linked by the death of a little girl who drowned in 1968. 1968, and the mystery of her death must be solved. Starring Alex Kingston, hell yes, I love all things Alex Kingston, you guys, Dean Andrews, Shelley Kahn, Elliot Cohen, Jodie Whittaker, yay, Jamie Thomas King, and Anne Reid. Yeah, what a cast list, yeah, guys. So yeah, that is what Marchlands is about. Everything is wrapped around this mystery about a little girl who died and she drowned, and so it's kind of this whole big thing. What was it? Murder? Was it an accident? What was it? Now, Lightfields, in the meantime, like I said, that was released back in 2013. 5 episodes for that as well. Once again, both of these have 5 episodes. I pretty much binged this over the course of 2 days, you guys. I kid you not. That's how engaged I was. But yeah, Lightfields. This is going to sound fairly familiar to the premise of Marchlands, you guys, and we'll get into that as I get through this review. This is set in 1944, 1975, and 2012, following 3 families over 3 different decades living in the same house, linked by the death of a teenage girl who died by a fire in 1944, and her ghost haunts her home seeking justice for her death. Starring Dakota Blue Richards, Antonia Clark, Sam Hazeldine, Lucy Cahoon, Carla Crome, Chris Marshall, Danny Webb, and Michael Byrne. Again, what a cast list. Totally here for it. So, if you can't tell from both of those premises alone, both miniseries take place over 3 different decades, following 3 different families. But what unites everything kind of going on is that there's some sort of mystery, and they're all living in the exact same house and location. And that's something that I instantly kind of gravitated towards. I really strongly loved the premises for both of these miniseries. And yeah, even when I read, because I'm someone who loves historical fiction, even when I read historical fiction, I love that sort of thing when there's like multiple timelines or dual timelines and different narrators, and something kind of connects and weaves together different characters, even if they're like centuries or decades apart. So yeah, that's the big kind of, I guess, the gimmick, if you will, of both of these miniseries, is the different families over different decades, but united in kind of one major thing that's linking them together, some sort of death. And as I said, I totally enjoyed both of these miniseries. I found them to be, for the most part, very well written, well directed, well acted. The production value for both of these, considering, you know, one's 2011, one's 2013, the production value for both of these is like superb. It's just so wonderfully done, and I love the costuming. And I don't think any of these miniseries have a single bad episode. I think there's something about the pacing that is really quite perfect for both of these miniseries. The pacing just moves and flows quite nicely, and there's enough material there to have 5 episodes. It never feels like there's kind of this middle area where it's like, why is this episode here? Things could have been condensed. I never really felt that way. I think I felt every episode was needed in order to solve the larger, grander mystery that was going on in both series. And yeah, again, because these are really complex narratives. Okay, let's put it that way. These narratives are very complex and meticulous, if you will. So in the hands of any other writer, these miniseries could have easily fell apart. And I don't think they ever did. I think for the most part, the storytelling is very concise and cohesive and works and makes sense by the time you get to the very last episode. And there's not really too many loose ends. Now, I will kind of bring that up at one point, why I prefer one over the other. Because I do feel like one of them, I did have questions at the end. I was left kind of at the end like, wait a minute. I still have a few questions. What about this? What about this? What about this character? Or what happened? And again, as I said, these 2 miniseries, though you can view them separately, you don't even have to watch both of them together if there's one you prefer over the other. Again, though, they are linked by their thematic elements, which is what makes them companion pieces. And yeah, what the themes are that both of these miniseries are exploring, we got death, grief, loss, mistakes, sins of the past, the act of moving on, regret, innocence, trauma, secrets, all that good stuff. A lot of really good thematic elements that kind of weave throughout all the episodes, and in each character kind of inhabiting certain different things. And like I said, if I had to pick one miniseries over the other, which one I liked the best, like if you couldn't afford both of these, because like I said, I had to import both of these DVDs, so it was fairly a little bit expensive. So if you only had the option to pick one of these, my personal favorite out of both of these miniseries was Lightfields, and that's the one that you have 1944, 1975, and 2012, the death of a teenage girl who died in a fire, and yeah, everybody has to come together to figure out how she died. That one is my personal favorite because I think it did the best job of really bringing all of the various different pieces and plots and characters together in the most cohesive way that didn't feel a little kind of disjointed. Because even though I freaking loved Marchlands as well, I absolutely loved that miniseries as well. The thing is, my problem with Marchlands is that in the final episode, it almost felt like things were moving along a little too quickly and things were a little too abrupt at the end, and I feel like there were some character threads that were missing, and I found myself at the end going, well, wait a minute, what happened to this character? I'm curious what happened to them, you know, because they're never mentioned again outside of the decade that they're in. So for me personally, Lightfields was my personal favorite because, like I said, it seemed to come together the most cohesively, and I think it had for me, I think it had the far more satisfying conclusion. Now, before you do happen to purchase these DVDs, if this review pushes you to do so, here's a couple things you need to know about both of these miniseries, because they may not be entirely what you're expecting. Because me talking about these miniseries, you might kind of be under the impression that these are like ghost haunting stories, that they're murder mystery stories. Yes, some sort of tragic death has happened. Yes, there are ghosts in both of these miniseries. And yes, at first you kind of feel like the ghosts are sinister and nefarious and up to something, you know, because they're angry about their deaths. And yes, there's kind of a certain bit of that. But like I said, kind of getting a wee bit into spoiler territory, very, very minor spoiler territory here. These are not really like scary. Does that make sense? These are not scary miniseries that they have jump scares. The ghosts are not running around like murdering people, you know. These stories, the stories going on in both of these miniseries are much more about the emotional stakes, the emotional things that are happening to these characters, their connections to the characters who have died. And like I said, part of the thematic elements going on in both of these miniseries, they're dealing very heavily with secrets and lies, essentially, and people's mistakes and people's perceptions. So what you're having with these miniseries are definitely character explorations, exploring character depth and exploring character emotion. So they're not these grandiose murder mysteries, you know, like Agatha Christie. These are not in the vein of Agatha Christie whatsoever. And yeah, they're not these ghost hauntings where you're going to get something really spooky and scary and jump scares. These miniseries do not have anything to do with that whatsoever. They're much more quiet. You know, they're much more quiet and more interested in telling a good story. They're not here to scare you or frighten you or whatever. Yes, occasionally there are kind of those little moments where something scary might happen, but then yeah, if you go back and rewatch a certain scene, it's like, no, that was not something scary that was happening, it was something else. And again, these are not like murder mysteries in the vein of Agatha Christie. You don't really have much of anything having to do with a murder mystery. Again, kind of a wee bit of a spoiler there, because the events, the reasons for these deaths that happen in both miniseries, it has to do with like a series of mistakes that are made by various different characters that lead up to a character dying. Like I said, these miniseries are far more interested in character exploration and the secrets and lies that people keep. So yeah, I guess I'll leave this review for both of these miniseries there. I was just really excited to share my enjoyment of these miniseries. I don't know if anybody is interested in watching these whatsoever. Like I said, they're older. One is like from 2011, one's from 2013, but I always love learning about new series that I have skipped over. You know, that I've skipped over and I can take advantage now and watch. Like I said, if you do happen to purchase these DVDs, especially if you live here in the US like I do, you will have to import them. They do need to be imported, and you do need to make sure your DVD player, your laptop, whatever, you do need to make sure you can convert over to Region 2, because that is what they do. But yeah, if you happen to live in the UK, you probably have far better access to these DVDs than I do, so you probably won't have an issue. But yeah, I'm definitely very curious. Miniseries like this that deal with multiple decades, many characters, but they're all connected by like kind of a single uniting thread. Do miniseries like that interest you guys? I love that sort of thing. And again, has anybody watched these miniseries? I'm so curious if you happened to watch these way back when they first came out, because I'm certainly late to the party. But I did. I absolutely had a blast with these miniseries. I think I could easily rewatch them again and have an even deeper understanding of what's going on. So yeah, you guys, that's it for this very random review of some very random older British TV series. Just go with me. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.